What can be said about Batman that cannot be said about Gotham City? With 80 years of history and evolution to look back on, the character and his city have come to represent the darker stories in pop culture. Probably the only character to do so with a small handful of others, while still being incredibly popular. And over time, Batman has also managed to absorb and adopt the complex and weird monolithic structures of the city he inhabits. Last year, whilst in a spree of reading the Batman graphic novels, I read The Long Halloween by Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale. 13 issues later, I ended up with a feeling that I had understood something about the city, the characters, and the world the Batman inhabits, something incredibly layered and thought-provoking. But that feeling of understanding turned out to be fleeting. Such is the nature of a complicated work like The Long Halloween, that we can only hold it in our minds for a second before the moment is gone, and so is the thought. The story of Long Halloween is about the war on organized crime. Gotham's protectors form a loose pact to take down the mob family of Carmine the Roman Falcone, who has had the city in a stranglehold for many years. Of course, the irony in the situation is, Gotham as a city is so chaotic that the only ordered thing about it is in its organized crime syndicate. With the city practically on its knees, Batman, Commissioner Gordon, and District Attorney Harvey Dent form a triumvirate to try and wrest the power balance from the hands of Falcone. However, the struggle in that operation is that the mob's activities and Falcone's influence are embedded into the fabric of the city. All its institutions, including the judicial law systems, all practically answer to Falcone. The Roman holds all the chips to the empire, and Gotham is very much his empire. To make matters even more complicated, there is also a serial killer by the moniker of Holiday running around killing people on important holiday dates. And most of the murders seem to be targeted around people close to Falcone. With everything involved in the premise and its crime-noirish outlook which just drips through the artwork by Tim Sale, The Long Halloween is as demanding a long-form story as it is to look at and admire. But somehow Sale makes the artistic representation of this garish detective narrative work. The drawings seem to exude their own character into the interconnected lives of Gotham's people, and the people are what make up and populate the reality of this world. The Long Halloween is not a Batman story. Yes, Batman is our eyes and ears, but he is also the vehicle for a story encompassing the lives of Gothamites and how the realities of crime and depravity consume these people's lives. Halfway through the story, having lost his son to murder through the hands of the holiday killer, Carmine Falcone visits the gravestone of Alberto only to be cornered by a skulking Batman. Is it worth it? Batman asks a stunned Falcone. The price? Your son. Batman never gets his answer, but everything within The Long Halloween seems to repeatedly converge back on this unanswerable question. Is the pursuit of justice worth it? And at what cost? The personal and private lives of people are often governed by their own sets of rules and their own modes of being. But then there are these forces, otherworldly forces, and in The Long Halloween these forces are the ones of crime. The criminal element seeps into the lives of these characters, tearing and twisting and distorting their realities until even good people are no longer good and the bad are no longer the damned. It takes a year for the holiday killer to be caught, and in that period, numerous murders take place, and with the city on edge, everyone's life has changed, especially the ones trying to stop the madness. What begins as a crusade against crime on the outset of one Halloween instead becomes a story about the fragility of our moral stances and our principles. Batman questions his own ideals and whether his good friend, the incorruptible Harvey Dent, might be the holiday killer, an idea that tortures him. Moments of distrust creep into conversations between friends. Meanwhile, Barbara Gordon and Gilda Dent have their own insecurities on the effect the chaotic world of their husbands have on their families. The destructive forces of Gotham's criminal underbelly bleeds into the lives of its common people. In an earlier moment within the story, Alfred tells Bruce, "I might only point that in one's quest for justice, I have seen someone even as sane as yourself behave in the most surprising ways." Of course, at the end, when Harvey does become Two-Face, ending in a fall from grace, his transformation is every bit as tragic as Alfred's words ring true. The incorruptible, noble, handsome lawmaker with his headstrong personality turns his face and reveals the other side. The side that was edging into view as the story progressed, the one that was slowly consumed by a life spent fighting against crime, both literally and figuratively. Yet when all things are said and done, the question comes back to the one about price. Was it worth it? Batman asks Gordon on the terrace in one of the final scenes. The promise that we made to bring down the Roman. What it cost us. Harvey. Yes, the good guys won, Gordon answers. But I'll never know if it was worth it for a long time. When the fog of war clears away, when the battle is all but done, and the bodies of the enemy far outnumber the bodies of the victorious side, the unanswerable question gets whispered by the winning side. Was it worth it? Was all the pain, the betrayal, the menace, the destruction, the death finally worth it? Did we really achieve something? In a perfect world, our belief in ideals and notions of good and bad might serve us well, but it's hard to know what that perfect world is. And Gotham City certainly is not it. The Gotham of Long Halloween is our world, and in our world, our beliefs and morals and principles are more fragile than we'd like to think. The lines that seem so clear in our mind, the lines of distinction that would keep us from dirtying our hands, quickly evaporate and we are left with nothing but our beliefs, naked in the sun and under the darkness. But what could you or I believe in a world such as this, where nobody and nothing can be trusted? Well, I'll leave that bit up to Bruce Wayne. Hey guys, it's soon going to be 82 years of Batman, and as a celebration of this incredible icon, I wanted to make a video about one of my favorite graphic novels of all time. The Long Halloween is so much deeper and denser and packed with ideas than I could possibly put into one video. Maybe in future installments I'll look further into it. If you like this video, make sure you let me know in the comment section. I'd love to find out what you guys think about these things, and I make videos like this about books and comic books every 1 to 2 weeks. So if you guys are interested, you could check out my other videos. Here's one I made about Superman's place in modern day pop culture as seen through Superman American Alien, written by Max Landis. And the other is about the evolution of our stories through the ages and through the hands of famous writers, and how these writers helped shape the stories of today.